Welcome back, my beautiful friends. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Now, in our influencer segment, we are featuring Jada Wooten, athlete and influencer extraordinaire, appearing on Netflix's original American sports docuseries Cheer, portraying the struggles of cheerleading. Now, Jada is among the newcomers in season 2 and has gained tons of recognition on the show. She belongs to Trinity Valley Community College. Now, we're going to chat about her career, her cheerleading, and what it's like to be a reality TV star and influencer. She'll also give us her opinion on if extreme competitiveness in sports is healthy for kids. Now, Cheer returned with the new season this January with Jada as a lead tumbler and flyer, often pegged as the Michael Jordan of her team by the series director. Now, as she gets settled into the broadcast room, let's chat about what competition really means. Now, we all know that any sport usually takes on the form of competition, whether it's a game of basketball or the school cross-country championships. Competition is the activity of striving to win something by defeating or gaining supremacy over others. And competition is a very social process. How a child interacts with and interprets competition depends on the biological and social changes that child is going through. For instance, at the age of 7, children start to learn organization skills, such as the ability to resolve disputes and work towards collective goals. And the way they experience competition is entirely different to a 15-year-old with 8 more years of cognitive development. And at just 21 years old, Jada can surely talk to us about how competitive cheerleading has shaped her, changed her, and molded her. Welcome to the show, Stunner.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Now, you are glowing and beautiful. You are absolutely gorgeous. How long have you been in competitive cheerleading for? Talk to me. Walk me through your upbringing.
This is my 13th year, I believe. I have started in gymnastics, which I can't even remember, to be honest with you. And then I went into rec league, which led me to All-Stars. And then eventually All-Stars led me to college cheerleading. So in total, I've been in the game for 13 to 14 years.
Wow, you are very committed. And this is all pretty incredible and definitely worthy of a series, which you are on. But before landing a role in cheer, like you said, you were cheerleading for the cheerleading group Cheer Athletics. And you presented yourself as a 2021 NCAA Collegiate National Champion. And you were also a Grand World Champion 2015 holder. And along with this, you were a Sam Houston State Cheer and 3 times bronze world medalist. Clearly a prominent personality in the world of cheerleading. This surely didn't happen overnight. Talk to me about how all this came to be at such a young age.
Well, I found a love for it when my sister was in cheerleading in high school, and I thought that tumbling and all of the tricks that I got to see at her practices were amazing and looked great, fun. I wanted to try them. So that led me into All-Stars, and I grew up in a gym called Stingray All-Stars in Georgia. And I stayed there for about 8 years, I believe, if that's correct. And I got a mental block for 2 years, and that had me out of cheerleading for that time. And I decided to work on the skills that I lost and try to find out what it was mentally that led me down that path, which I'm extremely grateful for, even though it was definitely one of the hardest times I had to endure when it came to sports. And I moved to California for a year. That's when I started competitive again with Lady Bullets at California All-Stars. And after that year ended, I was recruited to Trinity Valley, which I took them up on the offer, of course. And that led me to 3 years down the road and adding a Netflix docuseries on top of it. So it's all been a crazy ride.
Yeah. So let's chat Cheer. So the first season of Cheer centered on Navarro's Junior College, which is a Texas community college whose team is the nearly unbeaten champions of the National Cheerleaders Association. And in the second season, the show widened. Obviously, its focus to include your college, your fellow community college just up the road, Trinity Valley Community College. Now, talk to us about the differences between the two teams. We have about 2 minutes till a commercial break, and then we'll come right back. But talk to us about the competitiveness and the rivalry going on right now.
So they are in a division by themselves. I did not realize how crazy it was until I got to the school, and everybody was so determined to beat them because obviously they've been racking up titles, and with good reason. They earned all of them as well as the Valley, and this rivalry has been so alive because of how great both teams are. Both of them have gotten grand at this competition, and that is extremely hard to do because you're dealing with a community college full of kids who just got out of high school and have little to no experience in this area of cheerleading, because All-Star is on a spring floor mat and then college is on dead mat. So there's a bunch of athletes who also cheer together at one gym and All-Stars who go against each other for their colleges. And in my opinion, after being in both, I think college is taken a bit more seriously when it comes to skills and perfection. You're just working with a bunch of other adults who have been doing this probably the same time as you have, some longer, and also some have years on you.
Yep.
In a sense of experience for college. So it is just,
it's definitely competitive. It's definitely
Yes.
competitive. Well, we're going to cut to a commercial break and we'll be right. That was our influencer segment brought to us by Biche Cucina, featuring Jada Wooten, reality TV star of Netflix's Cheer. Check her out on the gram at Jada Wooten _. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, my beautiful friends. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Now we are chatting with Jada Wooten. She is a reality TV star appearing on the Netflix series Cheer. And we are chatting about how competitive cheerleading has helped her career, has helped shape her and molded her. Jada, welcome back to the show. So nice to have you on.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Without a doubt. Okay, so let's dive right into it. So let's chat Cheer. So the first season of Cheer, right, centered around Navarro's Junior College, which is a Texas community college whose team is really unbeaten, the unbeaten champions of the National Cheerleaders Association. Now you came in during the second season. You are the star of the show. Talk to me about what Trinity Valley means, and how, if Trinity Valley is the underdog with less of everything, less money, less support, except talent. That's what Trinity Valley has, talent like you. And talk to me about what that means on the show and where the show is headed.
The Valley is an incredible place, definitely not something that I thought I was getting myself into, and in the best way possible has changed me a ton from the first year I was there up until my last year. And like you said, our support system, our money situation was always tight and low. And really our main support came from alumni and even people who just love and support the school and their athletics. And that's really all we needed. And with all of the talent and these kids who were coming from all over the place, worldwide, honestly, has made this place so impactful for me. I'm sure those athletes and the program itself. And and Greg, who is the producer and director of Cheer, found and saw that in both colleges, and it's really rewarding to be a part of it all.
Now, it's definitely rewarding. It's gotten you to where you are right now. But talk to me about why Trinity Valley Community College originally turned down filming for the first season of Cheer? I know it's because you guys wanted to focus on your athletics with no distractions, but what made you say yes the second time?
The first time they declined, they didn't know what to expect of it. I don't think that they thought this would turn out the way it has. So I believe the school was just sitting back and seeing how the first season may have gone. And we don't know any detail on this. We have our assumptions, but and after after the first season came out and blew up, and it was awesome. It hit people from all over the place who weren't even involved in any of these sports, watched it and enjoyed it. So I think that the school just felt the need to not pass up such a good opportunity when it's given to you not once but twice.
Yeah, without a doubt. And when you compare the two schools, right? You guys, if you really have to break it down, Navarro is Goliath, right? With its multi-$1,000 custom stage and athletes with agents and reality show appearances. And like I stated earlier, Trinity Valley is really kind of the underdog, right? With less of everything, so to speak. But you guys are very persistent, leading me to you are very persistent, and you fell in 2019, an injury that required serious recovery, both physically and mentally. You dealt with what you just described as a mental block that really interfered with your sport, and it took you 3 years to fully get back to where you are. But you returned to competitive cheerleading and, spoiler alert, led your team to victory in 2021. What ultimately got you through it all?
The mental block part is super hard to put into words because it took a lot of patience and determination in order to get over that. And it's not easy. It's hardly done to get over a mental block. And that's for any sport. It's brutal and it kills your self-esteem and confidence tremendously, to the point where, like I did it myself, you leave the sport and you're just left empty. And I didn't want to be empty anymore. I didn't want to leave something I have done and spent so much of my life doing on such bad terms. It was devastating. And I think that if I didn't have all the support I had and the motivation and put the push, I would not have gotten over my mental block. And I think that whole process of me going through the mental block shaped me into being the athlete that was broadcasted on the series, because going through that, overcoming it, and overall just making a terrible situation a fantastic and beautiful one, I wanted others to feel the same, especially my teammates. And I came off very harsh in the show, which I could see from an outside looking in perspective, especially non-athletes. But my teammates, my coaches, we all know each other. We're best friends. We're super tight. Like, I think learning the personalities that I got the pleasure of working with, and knowing that they wanted it as bad as I did and needed that same push that I did when I was
Made it all worthwhile. Yeah.
I had to give it to them, because a lot of the times they, like I said in our earlier piece, they come in unexperienced, not even being in this world. It's just a lot. It's a lot of pressure.
Now let's go back to the pandemic. I mean, you trekked through it, as we all did, and it obviously made you thicker in terms of your resilience, and it made you a more humble individual, as it did with all of us. But what did it truly teach you with respect to competition? And second question, what does your training routine look like these days?
So the whole pandemic year was super tough. It was out of our control, and we knew that we had to come to terms and be okay with the fact that we lost this season, and for reasons that are way above us. And as far as the competitiveness and things like that, like, we have a huge respect for Navarro, and they keep us going. They give us this drive. They make us work hard. It's something we need. And I think that everybody needs that. And when you have respect for your competition, it makes the world and just the cheer community much happier to be in.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, you're at your best. We're all at our best when in pursuit of a great goal or a challenge, one that's just, outside our reach and excites us to reach inside ourselves and grow. And it's easy to think
Yes.
more is better when it comes to competition, right? More people, more teams, more opportunity. However, often the best competition is selective, involving an opponent that challenges you in a way that reveals your strengths and grows your weaknesses and inspires you to bring your A game every time you turn up. So great competition
Absolutely.
emphasizes the process, not the result. And that's what you guys are about. Now, what does your training routine look like? Let's go back.
All right. So do you mean our routine, or do
No,
you mean
like how often, like when do you like how often do you train? How many times a day, a week? Do you stay in shape? Are you with a coach when you're not on the show? What does that look like?
So for one, my training did change from going to from a community college to a university, but at the community college, I'm not gonna lie, way more brutal. We practiced every day, and then on the outside of practice, we were getting in shape. We were doing workouts and extra gym sessions in the cave, we call it, and working on our skills extensively, trying to perfect everything, all the little bitty stuff. And that transferred to now, except my team at a university, we practice 3 days a week. And then I have those other free days, free and not free, but free. And I go into the gym and I work on stunting, tumbling, even if it's for like an hour in each part. Stunting usually goes for much longer. And I think that if you are new, or honestly, if you're working with another person, you guys need as much practice as you can get, rather than me tumbling wise. I know I can go into the gym, rep out a few of my skills a few times, spend at like an hour at most with my tumbling, depending if I'm trying to get a new skill or not.
It sounds like you don't ever stop, my dear. You need a break. You need a break. Well, listen, are we looking at a season 3 for you on cheer, or what's in the works?
No idea what's coming of the cheer season. I don't know if they're making another season.
We'll let the streaming giant reach out to us. But listen, it was such a pleasure talking to you, because you are funny, you are upbeat, and you're so full of advice. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. This was great, and I loved meeting you.
Oh, you're the best. Guys, check her out. She's incredible. She's talented. She's smart. She's driven. She's an inspiration to so many girls. Check her out on the gram at Jada Wooten _ JADAWOOTEN.